All right, welcome. We are live with the Aim Size channel, and our guests today are Dennis Loosier and Billy Campbell, also known as Dr. Duck, I believe.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, they're very successful waterfowl hunters, and they have been featured in many publications. You got sponsorships from various companies. You got your own TV show. You got your own successful line of outdoor products, and you also actually own other businesses while you're doing this. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and thank you for joining.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the invite. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks again. And to give our viewers a bit of a backstory, so we are shooting and marksmanship company, and we want our followers and our customers to level up and continue and improve their shooting game, their archery game, their hunting game. And we were thinking of ways to add value to our customers and followers besides our core products. And we thought, what better way is to share the wealth of people we have in the community and then amongst the followers, such as Dennis and Billy, and basically, talk about their strategies and tactics, tips and tricks on what makes them so great at what they do and how other people may benefit and learn from it. So that's why we're here today. Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna start with some basic questions, and to introduce you and your backstory, kind of know more about yourselves and how you got started. Like I already mentioned, you're pretty successful and well known. You have your own TV show and whatnot. But basically, if you were to start with telling our viewers a little bit about who you are and what makes you like a key person of influence in your industry.
I don't know, Greg. Successful sounds like a really big word, man. I don't know that I'd go that far.
I, I think I agree with Billy. The thing that we try to do is we try to reach multiple hunters, showing that they can have success on public ground. If you put the work in and you go through the grind, it's not only about the kills, but it's also about the experience. And that's what we enjoy sharing is our experience with others. And I just think it's grown, and so a lot of people have catching on and started to pick up what we do, and so that's what we're really about. So.
Yeah, another aspect. I'll jump in, kind of follow up on that. Greg is, growing up when Dennis and I would get done duck hunting, we'd like to enjoy on, say, Saturday, turn on the TV, outdoor channel, Sportsman, whatever, and watch other hunting, waterfowl hunting shows. And at that time, a lot of the shows that you watch were all primarily based on private ground. It was our belief that, like us, most people who we knew that waterfowl hunted didn't have access to such ground. I know Dennis and I, we come from pretty humble families and didn't have a lot of land or dollars at that time, while we had a growing family to go out and spend the kind of resources necessary to have private land to hunt here in East Texas. So we had to utilize our public grounds. That's what we cut our teeth on, grew up on, and what we continue to do primarily today. And coming home and throwing on the TV, you didn't really see any of that. And we felt like that's where the majority of your true guys that get after it day after day were. And we wanted to we thought, how cool would it be if there were a show you could turn on and watch people do what we do, what most people do, which is chase mallards on public ground. And so over time, with the hard work that Dennis put into scouting birds and us having a couple years of success here and there, it's hit and miss, just like with everybody else. But we felt like the story, the journey was written in what public land hunters go through to find them try and find that success. And so when the opportunity arose for us to continue to share that story through short films on the interweb and through our podcasts, and now at Realtree through the Federal Black Cloud channel on YouTube, it's been just a great opportunity. We're super thankful for to kind of show what it takes as a public land hunter that doesn't have the resources that other people might have to find success, as Dennis was talking about.
Yeah, no, this is great. I can only imagine what it feels like, 20 years ago, seeing your idols on TV, and now you are on TV. Like, you are the next generation of leaders, and you are spreading the message and enabling, other common folks to do what was previously not available, simply because they didn't have the knowledge. So yeah, no, that's amazing. And I guess it does explain like how you got your start. And how did you guys meet each other? Like, did you like meet when you were childhood friends, or because I always I'm curious how partners in business get their origin. Like, how do they meet, and how they find out that they were the right fit to go on this journey together?
I think I was the only guy dumb enough to continue to hang out with Dennis, to be honest with you, Greg. Dennis was a pretty big hog hunter at the time. We had a mutual friend that asked me one day, we were actually taking a day and playing golf, and he said, "Didn't you used to hunt a lot?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I got a guy you need to meet. He wants to get into duck hunting. He hunts a lot. He's never duck hunted. Have you ever duck hunted?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, y'all should go together to figure it out." Anyway, he set that meeting up, and like I said, I think I'm the only knucklehead. We've had a lot of people come in and out, but I think I'm the only knucklehead crazy enough to try and keep up with old Dr. Duck, I guess, because it's been close to 30 years now that we've been duck hunting together.
It's been a journey for sure. And like Billy said, we started out together, but we fell in love with it. And what we fell in love the most was more or less like it was just like playing golf. More of a social as well. You're not sitting in the deer stand by yourself, or you're not or sitting by a tree by yourself or anything like that. So our first hunt was with a group of guys, and that's why I think we fell in love with. Everybody was laughing, cutting up, making fun of each other, and none of us really kind of knew how to do it. So we all figured it out a little bit, but like Billy said, there were some that come and go, but we've always stuck together, and so it's been a fun. I think it's been over close to probably, I don't know, almost 25, 30 years. It's hard to put a number on it, how many years we've been together. So it's been fun.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And it probably feels like yesterday, but 25, 30 years, that's a great run rate. And something that caught my attention is that like you met each other through a mutual introduction, and I think that it's great about the power of community and the power of networking. Is this one introduction that may have been random at the time, created this wonderful relationship, and resulted in your TV shows and all the other things that you guys accomplished. So this is also the reason why we want to do this, is to have that opportunity to get the community together, and potentially more opportunities will come out of things like this. So great. And I like how humble you guys are, saying about what you define success. It is an elusive term, and I guess it could be a topic for a whole other episode. But I wanted to ask you, like, out of all the things you guys have accomplished, what do you think was your biggest win so far?
Well, I still think it's as our goal hasn't been that we started out. That's the main thing that we're trying to teach these young guys now. I met Billy through a mutual relationship, as we discussed, and we became lifelong friends and been lifelong hunting. And so I was like, you just
Mm.
Having some audio difficulties.
Yes, I think he must be
I'm
driving
sorry.
through some poor coverage area.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Hey,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're back.
Okay. You know, I was talking about where, we was talking earlier how me and Billy met, and that's the things that we're trying to teach the young guys now, is or other guys, period, is that you just never know who you'll meet at the boat ramp. I met a lifelong friend through duck hunting, and you might run up in the same guy at the same time at the boat ramp, or you might run up in a guy that's got the same hole. Instead of arguing and fighting, just join together. You just never know who you might meet, and that the relationship that you can develop. And so that's the thing, and that's our goal. I don't think we've achieved that goal 100% yet, but that's where we're striving to be. I don't know if we'll ever accomplish it 100%, but every day and every year we try to strive to reach that goal and make it even bigger and better.
yeah, to expand on that, Greg, and put some emphasis on the point that you made, it is about community and it is about relationships, and Dennis talks frequently on our podcast about how people that get involved in this industry may not have had a father or grandfather, or just like Dennis and I, actually, while I had a father that loved the outdoors, he was really passionate about them four-legged furry critters, and he'd rather chase a squirrel than anything. And Dennis had a granddad that spent a great deal of time with him, and they were more coons and hogs, dog type prey, and varmint stuff. But so we didn't have anybody show us the ropes for duck hunting. That's something we had to figure out on our own. And when you talk about the community, especially in a world like we live in today, it's so important for us to understand and realize that we're all on the same team as outdoorsmen, and we could achieve so much more together than bickering over who got to the hole first, or people shooting other people's swing ducks, or trying to call birds off of them. There's a lot of room, and that's something that we try to do excuse me, in our podcast, is just help people understand, look, you're not here for a long time, and the more you make out of your time here, the better off we'll all be. And we do believe that we are on the same team, and that's what we try to promote through the work that we do.
Yeah. No, I really love this message where, you do consider the tribe that you built, the community that you've created, as your biggest accomplishment. It's not like the trinkets and not the material things, it's the relationships and the people. And you're right. And it's 2021. And in the middle of what's going on in the world, it's super important. And myself coming back from the military background, team is everything, and I can totally relate. So no, thank you for that. And I guess
I want to thank you, Greg, for your service. My son, I know y'all hate hearing that. My son's still active, and very thankful for what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys, and appreciate it. But I caught that you cited your fathers and grandfathers as some of the early life influence that put you on this path. Besides them, who else was your biggest life influencer, and why?
I would say, I got multiple friends, but, far as in the hunting industry, I would have to say Billy. It's, we've been hunting together for a lot of years, and you're taking, an average of 25 years hunting together. That's, that has to be something there. So he would probably be, far as waterfowl hunting and all of that, he would probably be my go-to guy. So I would have to say it would be the guy that's on the other side of this phone call.
Bro, I feel like we're having a bro sesh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's beautiful, like true friendship, really. Like if your partner and business partner and fire team partner is your biggest influence. That's really powerful. Yeah.
Well, if you watch the videos and if you understand what we go through each and every day, it has to be a good partnership between us. We have a lot of disagreements, in waterfowl, in opinions and everything. And so him and I always found a common ground to stand on, and we still get frustrated with each other. But at the end of the day, we're not mad at each other for maybe more than a minute, and that's kind of unique and special, I think, between a couple of guys who are very competitive, and you have to be competitive on public ground and want to be successful. Like you said, we don't think it's all about the kills. It's about the journey and the experience as well. But when you got two passionate guys going after it and you've been together that long, it says a lot, I think.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with Dennis. While my father played a very key role, his contribution for me at that young age was just allowing me to get outside. And I lost my father at a pretty early age. So getting back into hunting, I credit to Dennis, because at the time I had gotten away from it. We all get distracted with other things going on in our life. And we talk about our journey outdoors quite frequently, and the journey wouldn't be what it is, obviously, without Dennis there sharing that time. So the other side of that for me is relationships that you build and sustain over a long period of time had to be fruitful in multiple areas, in my opinion. And what better place to learn more about life than the outdoors, in both of our opinions, I'm sure. And then when you share that time with somebody, I can remember watching shows, and those same shows that I talk about early on that we watched when we had first started duck hunting, we would joke about and talk about how they did things and how that wouldn't work in our situations. And Dennis is he'd be silly at times, but he's a very smart man and understands how to apply things in the outdoors and in the situations that we find ourselves in, chasing ducks, and just a super sharp guy to make adjustments and help us be successful. And obviously that helps me grow my understanding of those situations. And I think it's been fruitful in many areas over our long journey together.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys for that reminder about the power of friendship. And, it's probably fair to call it brotherhood.
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome.
Right.
So go ahead, Dennis.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, you're right. It's power, relationship, brotherhood, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned that nature could be our biggest teacher, and you can never learn enough from it. Like the humankind is still learning to understand our world, and going out there and in the bush and the outdoors. Like I've been out a couple times, and yeah, definitely you get a lesson almost every time. So that's super powerful. But I'd like to shift gears a little bit. And again, since we are a marksmanship and shooting company first, we wanted to ask you guys more specific questions with regards to actually doing the business, actually shooting. And I can only appreciate what it takes to, hit a moving target in low light conditions and probably poor weather, and multiple times successfully. So I'm sure our audience and our followers would be thrilled to learn some of the tips and tricks of the trade and tactics you guys use to, come back home with your full haul. Are you guys ready for that?
Yeah,
I
guess so. I don't, to me, to be a successful shooter is just being consistent. And of course, and it's hard for me a lot of times to be that consistent, because a lot of things, I think a part of our success is me and Billy, we do not hunt for a living. I own an HVAC company. I'm very active father with both my boys. And so it's hard to find that time to be real consistent on shooting. We explain to a lot of times to a lot of young guys is being consistent. It's going to the shooting range and shooting skeet and just getting used to the flow of the gun and following through the target. So being consistent in that matter is a big part of our success, and we did that a lot early on. But Billy's got 2 boys and I got 2 boys, and they're active in sports and following behind them, it took a lot of that away. So anytime we did spend some time at the shooting range. And so as much as practice as you can get in, it helps being consistent. So that would probably be my tip of the day is if you got that time and instead of going playing golf with your buddies, go to the skeet range and just, and learn the flow of the gun, feel of the gun. I think the weight of the gun makes a big time difference. Understanding distance versus speed, and all that you can learn from the shooting range.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Gray, that I'm gonna take a little different angle with my answer here, just because Dennis is one of those guys. He ain't got to go to shooting range. He one of them guys that he could not shoot for 6 months, roll out of bed, show up at the skeet range, and probably hit 99, 97 out of 100, something like that on a moving target. He's just a great shot. I think when we're all at the younger age with sharp eyes and sharp reflexes, we're all probably decent. I was decent at best. And as I'm getting a little older, the old eyesight ain't what it used to be. What I have figured out, and this is, I'd love to hear your perspective on this being a military guy, because I've talked about stuff like this with my son. I know when you go out to execute, you want to control the situation as best as possible. Dennis, we call him Dr. Duck because he learns so much about how ducks act, where they want to be. Our goal really, and my goal, I'm going to tell you right now, I probably shoot more ducks off the water than I shoot moving through the air. And I know some people have a different perspective on that. My perspective is, if I can control that situation, that scenario, let's take a flooded timber scenario, for example. I'm putting out plastic decoys. Dennis has years of experience along with me, and we've learned how we can, not only have you done the homework to know where the ducks are coming from, but you've done the homework to know with this wind, with the temperature that we had today, with the water level we had today, with the opening we have in the trees to work with, this is how these ducks are going to act. And you can control that situation. And if you can fool those ducks with your duck calls or limited duck calling, letting them have it, and the setup of your decoy spread, we can actually 9 times out of 10, when we have success, the success is derived from putting these ducks where we plan to put them.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will say, well, I don't believe it's an ethical shot shooting a bird on water. But if we go through 3 or 4 turns of working birds, calling birds out of the air, tricking them into getting into our spread, we feel like that's the biggest part of our journey. So my line of thinking is, if I can get that duck really close, I ain't got to be that good of a shot.
Yeah, no, and that's an interesting point you're making, Billy, is being strategic versus being tactical. Like being tactical would mean like really, trying to perfect your shot, whereas being strategic is basically like, putting yourself into a situation where you're almost shooting fish in the barrel. You're
exactly right. And never for one moment, especially in the line of work that you come from, would I discredit a person's ability to make a good, clean shot. I do think that's important. And I'm not a terrible shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if we can control the situation, why not put ourselves in the best situation and best opportunity we can to successfully harvest that animal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make a lot of sense, and yeah, that's definitely a great strategy tip. That creating that environment, using a hockey analogy, being from Canada, is how Wayne Gretzky used to say, like, "I'm not going to where the puck is; I'm going to where the puck is going to be."
Exactly.
And, you know what I mean? very similar. But nevertheless, so consistency. I hear that was a big tip from Dennis, and on the macro level, I guess consistency is turning up at the range, and doing the reps, putting in the work. But also on the micro level, like consistency, like when I was shooting competitively, like our team captain would remind us that remember the way your body is positioned, remember the way you grip the firearm, remember like the littlest details, and then every time you make a successful shot, you try to recreate that again and again and again, and that creates consistency, and that muscle memory to actually do it without even thinking about it later. Your body assumes the position automatically. Your breathing pattern becomes different when you're about to make the shot. So yeah, definitely consistency is one of those things. But a couple of other questions, and it takes us into the mindset and the mental preparation. But like, how do you increase your confidence, and how do you motivate yourself?
We let the ducks do that, Greg.
Yeah. You know, I think if you love something enough, you don't need much motivation to do it. And we're very passionate about it. We look forward to it all year. I mean, we've said it numerous times. When the last day of the season here, we're ready for the opening day of the next season. And it's just that experience that you get out of waterfowl hunting compared to any other experience. You might be in some good weather, you might be in bad weather the next day. Just it's a different experience. One day it's warm, the next day it's freezing cold temperatures, and it's just then the competition of other, I would say, friendly competition of other waterfowl hunters being around us. And so just to give that a perspective, just like in the state of Texas, I think is 96% privately owned. There's only like 4% of public ground here. So you can imagine about what kind of competition that's just in our state alone. And so that makes it real fun. And putting the ducks number one on top of that, it creates that. So to me, it's just like we say all the time, it's just like Friday Night Lights. It's the closest things we can get to on Friday Night Light football around here in Texas. That's a big thing as well. So when you get a little older and you graduate high school, to get that feeling back, to get that passion back, waterfowl is probably the closest thing ever. It's came close to it. So I think that would probably sum it up for me.
Yeah, I would agree with Dennis. We already mentioned the time outside, and growing up, both he and I both growing up in that situation, that we understand the value and the importance of being outside, sharing time with others outside, bringing your kids up outside, and just enjoying the outdoors. And then you throw ducks and the competition level that Dennis talks about of being consistently on public ground. It's very exciting, and it's very easy to get back after them. Yeah, I had a guy ask me last year. He said, "Man, after you and Dennis hunt together for so long, so many years doing the same thing, and now you got video stuff, now you got product stuff, now you got the podcast stuff. Do you ever get kind of tired of duck hunting?" And the answer is honestly 100% heartfelt when I say no, absolutely not. And not only do I not get tired of it, it seems to create added energy and motivation each year just to continue that journey, to continue to try and find success, to continue to share the story of the hardworking public land waterfowl hunter. And so not only do I not get tired of it, but that motivation you asked about, it seems to run a little deeper and deeper. And plus, hey, Dennis and I, we ain't no spring chickens, so our days are numbered, man. We're gonna get the most out of every one of them here forward.
That's right.
Yeah, no, this is great. And definitely, even though you are passionate and you love it, what I'm hearing is that the movement that you guys started, the cause that you guys are pursuing, and that mission you guys are on to spread the word and educate the folks around you about, what it's like, that is the force that keeps you moving, keeps you, challenged, and keeps you growing, and stops you from, just giving it up. Even if you became bored, you still not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others, for the community, and for your friends and followers, right?
Right. And that's the thing too. And just, back to the 4% thing, we're trying to make this thing grow with only 4% public grounds. So the community has to be a tight knit. We have to be all on the same team. We can't be divided. We can't be fighting amongst each other. So we have to find some common ground that we can all agree to. And if we are in a place that maybe it's holding a lot of ducks, but also if you're holding a lot of ducks, you're going to hold a lot more hunters. And so we have to find a way to where we're all getting along and everybody have some type of success. And fighting between each other is not what we want, but we do want our community to grow, and that's the only way it can grow.
Yeah, no, this is a great motivator to have, the community as a driving force behind what you're doing. So yeah, no, thank you for that. I wanted to ask about confidence. Like, let's say you're doubting yourself for some reason. There's like, or does it even ever happen? Can I take this shot? Will I be successful like today in these conditions? And if you do have those doubts, how do you overcome it? Like, obviously you guys have a lot of experience, so it definitely helps because you've done it. But let's say for someone who's just starting out or is relatively new to this, what would you recommend to do in case of self-doubt or something like that?
Well, if he's just starting out, the advice I would have a guy is to make sure you're confident in your shot. And the only way you're going to develop that confidence, and I go back, I've coached baseball for years with both my boys, is it's going to be repetition. And then the only way you can get that repetition done is probably going to a skeeting range. And know what a good ethical shot is. And because you don't want to take a 40 or 50 yard shot in waterfowl, in my opinion, because if you take that 40 and 50 yards, you probably can hit the bird, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to wound that bird, and you spend more time chasing a wounded bird than you are hunting. And then you're not only messing up your hunt, you're messing up the guys around you's hunt, the guys you're with's hunt, because you're trying to find that bird and you're disturbing the area a whole lot. So to me, a close ethical shot, Billy says, down in the decoys, hovering above the hole, 15 to 20 yards is a nice ethical shot. It'd be a nice clean kill, ethical, quick retrieve. You're back in the duck blind and you're hunting again and waiting for the next wave to come over. So to me, if I got any advice to a guy or a guy that's just getting started, is to take those steps, and it will create more confidence when you're out in the hole hunting birds.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. Billy, what about you? Do you have any go-to strategies for increasing your confidence or removing that self-doubt?
Good snacks.
That's
you got to have that too.
I think Dennis nailed it. It's the consistency, the repetition, that word, those words keep popping back up. And as you mentioned, we have been shooting together, and we've been shooting individually before that for a very long time. I can't speak for Dennis. I know he ran more dogs than anything else, but I can remember starting with a pistol with my father at probably 6, 7 years old. Same kind of thing Dennis and I did with our kids. And there's a lot of conversation around gun ownership and safety with guns at an early age. And it's my perspective that the earlier, when you can introduce firearms to kids and give them proper instruction, have them become familiar with any gun that's in their hand, and obviously the gun being a tool, I think that's another probably part of the confidence. You got to be confident in your tools. That not only comes with a good product, but it also comes with your familiarity with that product, probably, in my opinion. So just like you guys said, being repetitive, consistently shooting, working with that gun, kids growing up shooting the cans with the BB gun all the way up through waterfowl. I'm trying while y'all were talking and Dennis was talking about it. Not that I wasn't listening, but I was trying to think in my head a situation that I could share where Dennis might not have been confident in taking a shot. I don't think there is one. I think if that bird was 180 yards, he'd probably tell you he could make that shot if he had to. So, the confidence is there, and it comes from the repetitiveness, as you guys talked about.
Yeah, no, thanks, Billy. And I'm glad you brought this up because it raises a very important point. So, I hear that you increase your confidence by just, first of all, training consistently and just telling yourself that you have done this on numerous occasions, multiple times, you can do it. So trusting yourself and then trusting your equipment. Like when I was, in the airborne school, like that was one of the things, like trust your equipment, trust your parachute was packed properly. Or like when, you're going in for the door breach, your first, breacher through the door, you got to be confident that you are not going to have a stoppage with your weapon, right? So definitely training, getting accustomed to the equipment, making sure it works. And it's shameless plug. Our other company that Indo Snake is in the business of making sure that the firearms are ready to go and they don't have any issues by keeping them well inspected, well prepped. That's very important. Now, I know some athletes in different sports, or they use techniques to increase confidence, such as positive self-talk and like visualization. So like athletes visualize themselves like crossing the finish line or standing on the podium with the gold medal on their necks, and that helps them perform. Or positive self-talk, so like I got this, or like I know I'm a badass, whatever works. You guys ever use any of these? Just curious.
No, honestly, basically what I do. Well, here lately, Billy's been doing the same thing. I kind of, as older, we're getting to be a little older, so we have to prepare a little bit better for waterfowl season for us. I might walk 2 or 3 miles. I might do a protein shake that morning with some eggs and then do my walk and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, in preparing for what we're going to do, because we try to, we'll plan our season out and we kind of visualize, like last year, the water was low. So we had to do a lot of walking. If the water's up, we don't have to do as much because we can boat right in. But last year, or the last couple of years, it's been unfortunate. The rivers have been within the banks. And so, we take the boats down the river. And of course, we might walk, average a half a mile to a mile in the, muck, water, going up, down creek beds, back up creek beds. So, just preparing for that. And me and Billy's here recently has been doing that a little bit, just trying to get prepared for that. So, for as anything else other than when the season gets started, donuts in the morning and hot coffee. Other than that, then that's probably what we do to get prepared for the season.
Yeah, and I would expand on it by just saying that I'm with Dennis. I don't think it's so much. I wouldn't call it arrogant, but having that strong level of confidence you're talking about, I think it comes without saying with us or having to reiterate it mentally at any point. It's honestly, it's a situation where Dennis and we have done this a very long time, and I'm absolutely 100% sure I can speak for both of us when I say that there probably isn't a shot that could be made that we haven't seen on a duck. And it gets back to that scenario and situational preparation probably for us, and the work that Dennis has done over the years of trying to find that perfect situation to work those birds in. That's something you do replay in your head. When we go to set up in a spot, I can promise you, even if he ain't slept that night, he's already thought in his head where the ducks are going to turn in the air, what it's going to take, where the wind's coming from, how they're going to sit against that wind, where to put the open pocket to make sure they have a space they feel comfortable in, what trees we're going to hide on to make sure, because concealment is key, we can't get busted. The funny little thing with this is, well, not so funny for you, your training, your preparation, you're in a situation where your life and the lives of many others, including our free citizen lives here, depend on what you guys accomplish. Dennis and I are just playing a game. At the end of the day, we're trying to learn life lessons from enjoying something that we're very passionate about. But Dennis has always took it to another level, and it's something that not had as much impact on me as it has my oldest son, who I mentioned is active military. You gotta pretend like each one of these ducks, they're packing too. And if you treat that situation like every one of them ducks has their own shotgun, you're gonna play the game a little differently.
Okay. That's an interesting
Yeah.
mental trick. Yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
going to be behind the tree, not in front of the tree. And that's, we hunt with a lot of guys, and concealment is the key to success. Ducks can see very well, and especially educated ducks. So you're not going to be standing in front of the tree blowing the duck call. You're going to be behind the tree with your head down, hugged up against the tree as tight as possible. You want to look like you're a part of that tree. So that is the main part, key to success. On top of, we put the time in of scouting. Hours and hours goes in of scouting. So there's a lot of walking in that. And so all that comes in the hand, because you're not going to be able to just stand out in the open and kill waterfowl. So concealment is the key to success as well.
That's a very good point. Billy and I were joking before we started about dyeing his beard more tactically,
Yeah, that's going to have to, he'll have to dye it. I mean, because white's just like a flashlight in the trees. You just, there again, you want to kind of blend in. And if you want to take his beard, for example, that's just not, it will be like somebody turned on a flashlight in a dark room. And that's what it would be. And ducks, and if he moved his face any at all or turned his head, those mallard ducks will pick up on it and they're gone. Because you got to have, and I want everybody to understand, in waterfowl hunting, and when you're hunting educated ducks on public ground, so, not started, because, anything between private and public, but private, you're allowed to let those ducks come in and let them rest for a few days or even weeks and go in there and hunt them and then have success where they're not educated. On public ground, they're hunted 7 days a week. There's no secrets. Everybody's hunting that hole. That hole got hunted the day before. So you're hunting Ivy League ducks. They're well educated. They're looking for to see what's wrong. Not all the things that you got right. They're looking for that one little thing that they can see that loses confidence of coming in. And if it could be that white beard moving a little bit, that's all it takes. They'll circle 10 times, and guess what? The next group comes in, and if that first group don't come in, the second group follows the first group out. So you lost 2 volleys of ducks real quick, real easy. And on public ground, that could determine if you get a duck or not. So that's the thing that we talk about a lot on our podcast, and we cover it a lot try to cover as much as we possibly can on our videos as well.
Ivy League ducks, I love that.
And I will dye it, Greg. I take pride in one thing. While I don't quite shoot as well as I used to, I do take pride in being able to conceal myself very well. When you spend as much time in the field as Dennis and I have, you learn a thing or two. And I like kind of being. I'm that ninja, man. They ducks can't see me, and plus I don't want that butt chewing I might take if I'm that guy that gets busted. So I'm gonna make sure I'm hit up pretty well.
Yeah, no, awesome. That's good. How do you keep yourself calm, and what role does focus and calmness play in getting successful out in the field for you guys?
Calm is not probably in my vocabulary when it comes to waterfowl hunting. I'm not.
I'm glad he said
it. I'm very, very, I am competitive, but I'm a friendly competitor. I'm not, and I want to make sure everybody understands that. But, I can shake hands with the guy who won that day, but you're really going to have to work your butt off to beat me the next day. And that's just the way it is. We get back to the boat ramp. We like shaking hands with young guys and hanging out with all the guys, period, and seeing their success. And there's a lot of days we came in, probably didn't shoot a duck, or maybe we got 1 or 2. And then, the guys that came out before us, they might've had 5-man limit, that doesn't set with me very well. but as a competitive person. But as a person, I'm very proud for those guys, and I'm happy for those guys, and I hope they get to do it again the next day. I just want to be a part of that success. So for me, being calm, that's probably not in my vocabulary.
Interesting, but you do make it work for you, not against you. Then.
Right. Yes, sir. It creates more motivation to get the job done. I feel like I didn't do a good enough job of scouting. I didn't do a good enough job of setting decoys out. I didn't good or being concealed. Whatever went wrong that day, it drives me to do a better job for the next day.
All right. What about Billy? Are you the calm guy in the duo? Or are you like the cool-headed?
I'm pretty laid back. Dennis would probably say I'm too laid back, but I think that's necessary in our relationship for me to counterbalance his level of motivation. Maybe he does get fired up, and we all do. I mean, there are all moments that happen that we all get excited about, and you know, I don't know how much time, if you've ever spent in the big live green trees deep off a river system in the woods where most people probably never see, but you work a group of ducks and you trick them into just slow. Everything seems for me to move into slow motion at that point. I can't explain what it is. The only downside of that is a lot of times Dennis will have to kind of scream at me to pull me out of that little coma I go into to start shooting ducks, because that's a moment that I don't ever get enough of.
Yeah, no, slowing down time, I think that is an ultimate sign of being laser focused on what's, what you're about to do. And I guess it just comes naturally to you without any, specific drills or exercises that you do, like, starting to breathe a certain way or.
Well, I would say that while I probably take it for granted because I've been hanging out with him so long, again, I go back to Dennis, the conversations that we have, the scouting work that he puts in. When we get to that time, it's almost like you've seen it before. And not that we haven't seen similar scenarios, just how they're going to work. You do everything you need to do that day. It still doesn't mean ducks are going to work. Ducks are going to be ducks. They're going to do what they want to do at the end of that moment. But when it does happen, it's almost like you've seen it before. So if you can, the conversations that you have, the work that you put in, if you can create that scenario in your head before it actually happens, it's just like you've already been there and made it happen.
That's our earlier point about visualization. That's exactly
Right.
that. And I guess you have like a mental playbook of, if this, then that.
Absolutely.
And you just lean on that. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a very powerful tool. All right. Kind of going to start winding things down here because I want to be respectful of your time. And I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite quote related to shooting or hunting that you want to leave our audience with? Could quote yourself if you want, or each other, or somebody famous. I don't know.
I'm gonna defer to Billy on that one. We got several, but I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite one. I guess just our slogan, enjoy the journey is what we're really about. And Billy came up with that slogan, so I'm gonna steal it from him before he gets the answer. And so I guess that would probably be my favorite quote is enjoy the journey.
Thank you. And
I think we're on the same page with that. And just to give you a little meat into why that is, that Dennis talked earlier about the relationship side of things, the scouting side of it. There's so many different things that go into this. And what we saw on public land hunting, especially over the last 10, 15 years, probably is with social media. When social media come in, and we do the same thing. Everybody posts a picture, right? And what days would you rather post a picture on? The picture, the days you don't kill anything or the days you got a tailgate full of greenheads? I mean, I think obviously you got the haters on social media and you got people that look at everything in different ways. But whether you're shooting, 100 ducks or 0 ducks, that's not really the reason we went today. And again, that time outside, I think a lot of people have kind of, especially your younger generation, they go through this little period where you are focused on numbers.
Mhm.
You feel like I got to have X amount of ducks to be considered a success. And I think they all come around at some point, as you and I and Dennis all have, as we mature in the outdoors and we understand, while the numbers are good and we like numbers and we still like numbers,
Mhm.
that's not why we're there. It's not why we're here. There's a much bigger thing that's happening. We need to gain an appreciation of that. And it's not where we're going necessarily that we should be looking to all day, every day, but it's the steps we take to get there. Those are the things that are going to teach us more. We're going to have more memories. You may have that big day, but I got plenty of really terrible duck hunts that I have great memories from,
Mhm.
of a specific event that might have happened during that journey. And that's all we want to share with folks. Don't waste your time and burn through 60, 70, 80 days of duck hunting. Focus so hard on your numbers. In fact, we used to keep a spreadsheet. How many ducks we kill, what species they are, what the wind was like, what the temperature was like, where we shot them, all that information. We threw it out. It just gets to where you come so focused on analytics and trying to achieve a number, whether or not it's attainable. Just being focused on that number, I think, can take away from everything else that's happening. You really need to appreciate the moment you're in, and as Dennis said, enjoy that journey.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. And I think that's what life is all about at the end of the day, is enjoying the days and making the best of it. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so awesome. And obviously you guys are pretty well known, but for those people in the audience who don't know you, where is the best place they can find you online, or maybe in real life?
Instagram is probably going to be the best bet. Dennis is more he's more frequent and consistent with Instagram than anywhere else.
Mhm.
And he'll refer back to other areas of engagement on the interweb through his Instagram account, which is at Dr._Duck. We do have a Dr. Duck website, Federal Black Cloud, Dr. Duck YouTube channel. We have the Dr. Duck Waterfowl podcast. Realtree 365. Realtree is who we utilize to make sure we stay consistently concealed, and they have their own app, Realtree 365. So if someone's into hunting and fishing, they have all their hunting and fishing shows on the Realtree 365 app, and you can find the Federal Black Cloud Dr. Duck stuff there as well.
Awesome. So many different ways to find you guys, and Instagram, Dr. Duck is the go-to place for everyone. So give these guys a follow, engage with their content, and see what you can learn from them and their journey. So thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Billy, for coming on today. It was really informative, and I hope our followers and customers are going to appreciate the message and all the tips and tricks that you guys shared.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you for having us on. And again, thank you for your service.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
guys. All right.